Hi everyone. It's very windy out here, so apologies for my hair blowing everywhere. But we have taken our ferry from Vieques this morning back to Puerto Rico, and then we grabbed our Puerto Rico rental car again and drove to, well, I don't really know exactly where we are. The ferry lands in Ciba. And then we are like deep in the countryside now. We are far away from any town. It was pretty harrowing to get here, actually. If you come to Puerto Rico and want to see any of the countryside, like outside of San Juan, you probably want to rent an SUV. But let me show you. We are like high up on a hillside in the literal rainforest. It's so beautiful. So here is what you see from our tiny house. We're staying in an Airbnb that is literally a tiny house on top of another house. Paul has found the cat. The cat found Paul. And then here is the view from the other side. And I'll take you inside our tiny house. It's very cute. Pardon all of our stuff, but there's a tiny little bedroom here. Little kitchenette. And then a little bathroom. There's the light switch. There we are. So it is very cozy. With our stuff in here, we barely have room to move, but we don't mind that at all. This is actually perfect. And what we're going to be doing here is mainly exploring El Yunque, the Rainforest National Park. The only national park that is rainforest, which I believe is basically what we're looking at now. So I think now we're just going to relax for a little while until we need to figure out what to do about dinner. It's a good 20-minute drive back to civilization. And it is, like I said, kind of intimidating roads. So hopefully we won't have to make that drive too many times. But this is where we're staying for the final leg of our trip. Hi everyone, it is about 5:15 now, and I have had a shower and we've relaxed a little bit after our journey from Vieques. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about something I forgot to mention earlier, and that was our kayaking on Mosquito Bay last night. So Mosquito Bay is a famous bioluminescent bay. In Vieques, they've got a couple of bioluminescent bays, and I think Puerto Rico does as well, but Mosquito Bay is the brightest in the world, like has the Guinness World Record. So we went last night. This is something that lots of tour companies offer, kayaking on Mosquito Bay if you go to Vieques. And we went with Mosquito Bio Bay Tours, and we booked it about a month in advance. The best time, we actually timed our trip in order to make sure that we did this right. The best time to do it is around the new moon, so that it's as dark a night as possible. And last night was actually the new moon, and we chose all the dates of our trip so that we would be there for that night. And it was amazing. I have no footage to share with you because it's very dark. Your goal is for this to be as dark a night as possible. And Vieques doesn't have any big cities or anything. Like, the closest city is San Juan, and that's a good ways away. So the stars were incredible, and the bioluminescence is very cool. The meeting point was at in Esperanza, where we were staying. So we were actually able to walk to the place where we were supposed to meet. We got on a bus. We had life jackets given to us, and we got on a bus and took the most bumpy ride on the worst road that you can imagine. It feels like you're on some sort of ride, like Escape from Mosquito Bay. I think they explained that the reason it's so awful is that this land is so carefully protected that they're not allowed to repave it and fix the road. So they just drive on this horrible road that you're like, are we gonna make it there? But it's worth it because how long do you think the ride was? Maybe 20 minutes?
It felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like about 20 minutes. And then you get out in total darkness, of course, except the guides have some flashlights. And you want to bring shower shoes with you. Do not wear socks and sneakers to this kayaking tour. Like, you're gonna get wet. We were wading knee deep in the bay to get into the kayaks. So yeah, don't don't wear nice shoes. Bring shower shoes. All your stuff is gonna get wet. So just plan on that. Be mindful. We did our research in advance and knew what to expect, so we were fine. We did get rained on, heavy downpour for maybe 5 minutes right at the very start. And I thought, oh God, we're gonna be so cold. But it was fine. The water in the water of the bay is really, really warm. And as soon as the rain stopped, we were comfortable again. And the kayaking is not strenuous at all. There's no current to speak of in this bay. In fact, that's why it's one of the brightest bioluminescent bays in the world, or the brightest, I should say, is because the critters that create the bioluminescence, the dinoflagellates, they kind of get stuck in this bay because of just the way it's structured. Water flows in from the Caribbean and then doesn't really flow out. And they're happy there because the mangroves that grow around the bay provide the nutrients that they like. So these dinoflagellates just hang out in the bay and keep reproducing and enjoying the mangrove nutrients, and they glow in the dark. Anything that moves in the bay causes them to glow. So every time you dip your paddle in, you see the water around it just glow. For me, it was a very white and maybe slightly pale blue color. Other people see it as blue, so I guess it just depends on your eyes. But Paul said it was more blue to him, at least once we got closer to the mangroves, right?
It's like one of those LED headlights.
Okay, it's like one of those LED headlights, is what he said.
White.
Yeah, but I'll put up some images of kind of what a bioluminescent bay looks like that I'll find online, because I'm sorry I couldn't film any of it. I just don't have the camera skills to film something like that, and I don't know that I have the camera equipment to film something like that. I looked up how can you capture bioluminescence on film, and it was you need to set up a tripod and have a really long exposure. And there's just no way to do that while kayaking, you know? So, alas, I could not film the bioluminescence, but it was beautiful. We were able to see fish moving in the bay. That was so cool. Like, at first it was too subtle for me to notice, but once somebody asked, like, where are all the fish? I thought we would see fish. And then once I started looking for them, I could see them. And then also the company that we booked with, like I said, Mosquito Bio Bay Tours, they provided clear bottomed kayaks. I don't know if all the tours do that, but that was so cool because you could look down like between your legs and see just glitter in the water, basically. The water was sparkling. Great experience. We loved it. We went for the 9 o'clock tour. They had one earlier in the evening, but we thought we might want it to be darker. So we waited for the 9 o'clock tour, and then they were doing one more after hours. But I think our timing was good. We got back maybe around 11 and were able to shower and go to bed. You definitely have to shower after this. Like I said, you're gonna get filthy. So if you intend to put your hand in the water, as I did, don't wear anything like insect repellent or lotion or, I don't know. Just don't put anything on because that stuff kills the dinoflagellates. They're trying to protect them as much as possible. They used to allow swimming in this bay, and they don't anymore because everything that people put on their bodies harms the dinoflagellates. Same with boats, like exhaust from boats is not good for them, so only electric boats are allowed in Mosquito Bay. So yeah, they're making every effort to preserve it as a natural resource for people to enjoy. But anyway, it was so cool. I highly recommend it. If you go to Vieques, you definitely have to do it. It's kind of like the only super touristy activity on Vieques besides the beaches. So yeah, it's a must-do. Definitely a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience. So that being said, we're just enjoying the cool breeze and the beautiful view from our little rooftop hideaway. It feels like we have a tree house almost. And I don't know if you can hear the coqui frogs going nuts around us, but it rained a little bit ago, and so they are just singing their little hearts out. They sound like they're saying, coqui, coqui, coqui. And we are gonna head into the town of Naguabo to find a little happy hour and dinner and a grocery store, because we've decided, since we have a tiny kitchen, that we are gonna cook a little bit while we're here. We're almost at the top. We've climbed this far. We have to go all the way up.
¿Quieres subir
Sí, no,
nos sacamos
tú
juntos?
siéntate y Ana entra tu piso.
Como una de esas fotos incómodas.
Excuse me.
Porque va a saltar mucho. No, pero así no hay.
Hi, it's lunchtime. We're having empanadas, and Paul has, you got a passion on the beach. That's what this is. It's like a passion fruit cocktail. And of course I had a pina colada and a coconut, and I get a free refill. So looking forward to that after lunch. But you have what, a chicken empanada?
Chicken and cheese.
I have a beef empanada.
Pollo con queso.
It's beautiful here, sunny and gorgeous. The water is perfect. Love it. We're not sure what this is, but it's like a Nutella flavored coffee frappe thing with a Nutella cookie. It's delicious, I must say. It tastes like a, I don't know, coffee Nutella milkshake. It's awesome. Hi, good morning everyone. It is Tuesday and it's our last morning in Puerto Rico. We are headed home today. Our agenda basically is to pack up all our stuff, load up the car, and then head down into, I don't know, maybe Fajardo, maybe Luquillo, to get some breakfast. And then we are going to head west towards San Juan, where we will drop off our rental car and from there head to the airport. But we've had a wonderful trip. It has been so much fun. We've done a lot. It was kind of a packed trip, but at least we got a couple of kind of relaxing beach days in there as well. I got to check 2 things off of my 2026 bucket list challenge. And, you know, I just feel like it has been an adventure. You know, if I have any tips for travelers to Puerto Rico, I would advise definitely renting an SUV. At least if you are leaving San Juan and going out into the countryside, the roads can get pretty dicey, pretty steep, terrible potholes, you know. So, a little bit of lingering hurricane damage from Hurricane Maria, which I think was 9 years ago, but it's been a long, slow recovery for Puerto Rico. Definitely El Yunque is a must. If you haven't been to the rainforest before, it's a beautiful park. If I had to pick a favorite part of the trip for me, I would say The time we spent in Vieques was my favorite. I just love, I love beaches. I love tiny islands. It was just kind of magical over there, and the bioluminescent bay was unbelievable. And I asked Paul what his favorite part was, and he said either the bioluminescent bay or hiking in El Yunque. El Yunque was exhausting because the hike we did was pretty much straight uphill for over 2 miles, but it was very much worth it once we got to the top and saw that view. Both of us loved the bioluminescent bay and El Yunque, so those are kind of, I'd say, my top 2 must-dos. There are bioluminescent bays kind of scattered around Puerto Rico, but as I said previously, the brightest one in the world is Mosquito Bay. So yeah, that's the one I recommend you go to. So that's all for now. I'm going to sign off and carry on with packing and getting ourselves ready to leave.